We always leave late at night so that we try to get to North Carolina just after dawn so that we could drive through most of the South in the dark because my father felt that was safer.
3 or 4 times a year I would go back and forth to Georgia. But I knew I wasn't supposed to stop at night to buy any gas or do anything, not even to use the bathroom.
If you have to relieve yourself, there was always some kind of can in the back of the car, and mostly for the adults, because with the children, they just open both of the car doors, and the kids stood between the car doors and used the potty.
Washcloths, some wet, wrapped up in wax paper. I don't recall that we even, in my early travels, that we didn't have any plastic bags. You know, it was wrapped up in wax paper because we'd have to use the bathroom on the side of the road.
You tried to get everything you needed when it was daylight. That included gas. If you gave them a 20 to buy gas, you didn't get any change back. And if you said anything, they might cause the law or hit you upside the head. Wasn't no change. You didn't get no change. So what you tried to do is buy what little gas with the smallest money you had.
We would look at green books and we would look at things to sort of help us figure out where we could go. But the one thing I remember more consistently was that my father believed that the only place you bought gasoline from was from Esso, which is now Exxon. He would drive around almost running out of gas, passing Shell stations until he could get to the Esso. And finally I asked him, I said, okay, help me understand this loyalty. And his argument was that in the 30s and 40s, when he was a kid going to visit his father's family, Esso was the only gas station that would allow black people the dignity of using the toilet on equal terms as white visitors. And so the notion of unpredictability of racism, that it would tap you on your shoulder at moments you didn't expect, was really the key. And I think that the Green Book actually gave you that confidence that you wouldn't be tapped on the shoulder unexpectedly. And if you could live your life knowing that racism was there, but knowing when you had to confront it, my goodness, that was an amazing gift.
You didn't stop to buy any food. You carried your food for many years. Later, things became a little bit different that you could stop and buy some food. But before 1960, at nighttime, you didn't stop to buy no food.
Well, when we would go visit like our aunts in Georgia, or if we were going to Chicago, you know, my mother, she would fry chicken, boil eggs. That was something that, you know, you always traveled with.
And we had the tin bucket with ice in it, with newspapers around it and everything for the trunk of the car to put milk in and pop and deviled eggs.
And our standard fare was fried chicken and pound cake. I guess because these items didn't kept longer.
And we took brown bags. You heard your older people talk about brown bag? Greased brown bag, fried chicken was a #1 priority. Fried chicken and pork chops. That's what you went up and down the road with. And some water. We talk about people carrying water now. We carried water then. In quart jars, mason jars, and whatever.
You know, you pack your food, threw it in the window because you didn't have coolers in those days. Threw it in the back window to keep it warm.
And we'd have our food on the side of the road.
And if there were restaurants along the way, we could not use them as well. And so, but there were snack machines at each one of these places, so we'd end up with some landfill crackers, chips or peanuts or something like that. That was going to be our source of nourishment on the road if we didn't pack up something and take it with us. Going home, my mother's always made sure we had some food when we got on the road, so it was not that much of a problem.
But I can remember being excited about going. You know, I didn't realize all what they had to go through in order for us to get to Chicago or Georgia.
Mother always did the reading. She was the navigator. She would always say, well, let's see, we're getting to whatever town. and then Miss So-and-so's got a restaurant, or Miss So-and-so will get there in time to get some of her food.
We knew what the conditions were and knew that there were certain places you just didn't bother to try to enter. So maybe that eliminated any problems along the way. So if we got to a place where there were white and black signs, we knew, hey, you go in the place marked, Negro, colored at that time. And so those were really the experiences. It was not so much embarrassing, but it was just a condition of the time that was not very pleasant, having to do that.